Alrighty. Hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and before I do continue, I do want to give a warning to you guys. This part does cover the topic of assaults, and it does talk about a few things and delve into the aftermath of such an event. It does not cover the event itself, but I do talk about a few things briefly in this part. Now, to those of you who are not comfortable with continuing with that knowledge in mind, you are free to click off the video at any time. It does not cover the event itself, as I did say, but I do want to make that clear. It's a very bad thing that does happen in real life, and I do not condone it. It's a very serious subject for people to talk about, and it does affect a lot of people in a lot of different ways, because some people, they know about this and have had it happen to them, and it's unfortunate. And others, they don't treat this event as serious as it should be. Now, with that knowledge in mind, I will specify things and events important to the story in the next part. And I will not allow you guys to go through this and just find those events for yourself, if you do continue. I'll put those events as important and upfront, most importantly, and they'll be what the review would be used for. Now, with that being said, please do continue under your own advisement. Alrighty, hello everybody. This is Kirusho here, and now, before we do begin, let us give a brief little review. In the last part, we had a number of things happen. Currently, Renegade, he has sent 3 cities into pure chaos. An army of villains along with an army of clones, they're attacking a majority of Japan. They have Tokyo under siege, along with 2 massive cities. And Renegade, he's inspired chaos, thanks to All Might going into a forced retirement. Now, currently Deku, he had a plan, and that plan involved him pretending to have been tortured by Renegade, because Izuku Midoriya, he is still seen as that innocent teenager. Now, Deku, he tricked Ochako. Ochako was given a choice, and she acted. She acted to save one of the only people left who's still alive that are close to her. And Ochako, yeah. Unfortunately, Deku, he finally showed his true colors to her, and she got to see the real Izuku. However, unfortunately for her, nobody was there to help her. Especially whenever Deku, he did something. He did something very, very bad. Now, Ochako, she was eventually found by heroes, and taken to the hospital, where a number of things were discovered. Now, Ochako was left unresponsive, and a lot of people, they were concerned. Heroes came to see her. They tried to get information and understand what was going on. And the only thing she really was able to tell them, the only real thing, was that Izuku Midoriya was absolutely renegade. And that statement, especially from her, it said quite a bit. It took some time, but she eventually told the pros. She went to the hospital to get Deku. And whenever she got him out of there, he turned on her. He showed who he was. And then what he did next, it left an impact on her. That going through Ochako's mind. And the heroes, they don't push her for details. Because right now the only details that are important are that Renegade, he is definitely taken care of. Now, it's been about 1 week since then, and we do currently have Deku. Deku right now does sit at Overhaul's base, and he does have a lot go through his mind. As Deku, he does stand in front of Eri, and Eri, she still does sit in that chair, her unresponsive and left unaware. As Deku, he does get to do one thing. He does get to snap his fingers once, then twice, and then 3 times in the same pattern. And Eri does start to snap out of it. Her going to feel dizzy, confused, and then. Where is she? Hello, Eri. Hmm? Her going to look up and see Deku. As Deku, he does get to ask her, does she know where she is? I. Am I back here again? Unfortunately, yes. Now, Eri, I can do quite a few things. Him going to lower himself down and to eye level with her, expressing he wants to teach her a few things. I mean, show her how to do a few things. He wants to do all that because she's a lot like him. Really? Yes, Harry. You see, whenever I was a little bit more younger than you, a very bad man, he hurt me. I saw things from him that I never unsaw. People, they don't really understand what it's like to be like that. I mean, I understand that you've been through something similar. You hurt your father by accident, and your mommy left you by running away. You were left in the care of your grandfather. So, Ari, let's make a bit of an agreement, okay? What is it? I need you to do a few things for me. And in exchange, I can let you go back to Wonderland, okay? You can go back to that park and see it with your mother and father. Is that alright? I. I'm scared. Oh, I know. But then again, you really shouldn't be. What? Yeah. The bad man here, he's doing good things. You're saving more people than you realize. Eri, the number of things that have happened so far since I've put you in that little trance, the number of things that happened are a lot. But let me just tell you, the world is going to be destroyed one day. Hmm? What? Oh, yeah. Unfortunately, it's bound to happen. But then again, we can stop it. Funny enough, I think it was our generation, the ones who will survive. I mean, it's either us or the next generation, kids like you, who have to deal with the worst possible outcome. What are you talking about? The end of the world as you know it. There's a song about that, you know. But then again, it's not as funny. So listen to me, Ari. I'm going to teach you how to save the world. Okay? Deku holding up his hand, expressing to her, though he does want to show her how. And Ari is confused, her reaching her hand out. We do actually cut over to the villain's bar, where Toga is still going through quite a lot of things. I mean, Big Sis Mags wanted to throw Toga a baby shower, but Toga, she is still trying to figure out how to go back to her parents. I mean, the city they live in, it's not under siege yet, and they haven't begun evacuations, but if she goes home, she she has to tell her parents and well I mean, she kind of ran off with a boy, and that's all sort of complicated too. So that being on her mind, it makes her scream a little bit. I mean, internally, she's gotta talk to her parents, and Izuku, yeah, with how many versions of him are running around, it's hard to remember which one's the real one. I mean, she thought she talked to the real one the other day, but apparently there was a live broadcast, and Izuku, he wasn't there. And then apparently he also returned from a hospital trip. And that made her a bit more concerned. She she wanted to know what happened, but Izuku he didn't give her any details. And that does concern her. And we do actually have Shigaraki. Shigaraki, he's been learning a lot more from Kirigiri and the doctor. With All For One's death, it might be time for this boy to actually get properly trained up, properly do a few things. Maybe put on some chapstick and hit the gym. Actually get things done. And Shigaraki, he does go through a few trials. He is definitely somebody who could be a good evil avatar, a conduit for All For One. And Deku? Deku, while he may not be the first choice, that on the doctor's mind, he definitely is still on the table. He's certainly an interesting villain. So, what exactly does that tell you? Now, Shigaraki, he is still going under a few things, and learning more from the doctor. As you actually have Deku, the real Deku. He currently does sit there. He's trying to make sure he has everything down in his head, everything properly organized. In order? No, no. You still have Gentle running around trying to find La Brava. However, unfortunately, La Brava, she's a little bit busy at the moment. She's unfortunately come down with a very, very bad case of Nomu. And Deku, he's been there to try and help her get through it, get reaccustomed to some changes. And Izuku, he actually was quite intrigued to learn a lot more about La Brava's quirk. Because, apparently, if she loves somebody, she can increase their power. And physically, they become just a little bit stronger. So what does that tell you? Izuku, he has a lot on his mind. And currently we do actually have over with Sir Night-Eye. Sir Night-Eye, he's definitely gone through quite a few things. He's wrote down a few questions. He's, well, curious. But he's also concerned. You have Ochako Yuraka. After her unfortunate, well, circumstance in the alleyway, she's been left in the hospital. The information she told them, it was definitely interesting. And, well, with the hospital testing the DNA, unfortunately, it's true. The records from Izuku's quirk testing as a child and the records from Ochako's incident, they match. So, Izuku Midoriya is Renegade. The public cannot know about this information. But more importantly, the questions that Bubble Girl has already asked her, they've shed a few things, if not shed light, on a number of events. Because it's all been planned, meticulously, and with a lot of effort. It took careful care to guide certain circumstances. And that does actually intrigue Sir Night-Eye. Sir Night-Eye, he has future sight. He can see into the future. And this boy, if he has a quirk similar, if not close to it, what exactly does that mean? Certain events have been made very clear now. His entrance into UA, him making Bakugo think that he may be crazy. I mean, that boy may actually have been driven crazy, but before that, he was okay. But then there's that girl. She's been left broken in a hospital bed. And right now, he needs to figure this out. There's one thing he does still have on his head, in his mind. And that's one of the last things that Bakugo told Sir Night-Eye. Always wear a helmet. And Night-Eye, he actually has taken on some of that advice. The boy might have gone crazy, but he's still alive. And that does say quite a bit. Either he's been left alive as a cruel joke, as a pawn, or he's not supposed to even be on the playing field. Which, Sir Night-Eye, if he's correct trying to delve into Deku's mind state, must be the accurate assumption. And right now, the man, he is trying to convince the Hero Committee to sign off on what he's saying. He wants to temporarily turn the Hero Committee, he wants to temporarily turn heroes into a militia, organize them more, hand out helmets and weapons, and take military action. The cities that have fallen already, they're, well, they'll take time to rebuild. But that's another problem. They have to get the cities back first. And the amount of pushback they're getting from the thousands of villains, it says quite a bit. People are being rallied to Renegade's side. And how much longer until everybody's on his side? The only thing that exists right now is chaos. And that is say quite a bit. However, right now, we do actually have Leader that night at the hospital. Right now, Ochako, she currently is lying in bed. And she does just lay there, well, awake. She can't sleep. She's still scared. She remembers Deku, the person he used to be. The smile, the goofball, the nice guy who bought her lunch. The high school sweetheart she thought that she might have. She she she's an idiot. That's right. She's just stupid. Of course. Of course. She's just stupid. She's just so stupid. Ochako is suddenly sobbing. And right now they do to open the window and step inside the hospital room. And Ochako, she actually does get hear a sound. Her turning her head and seeing somebody standing there in the room. As somebody, they do go to bring their hands up. And that person reveals their face, pulling the hood off as Bako does stand there. However, Ochako, she just sit there frozen, staring at Bako as her eyes go to widen. And she shakes. She's still afraid. And Bako, he does just go to somewhat lean against the wall. Him going to sit down, and Ochako to stare at him, not taking her eyes off of him. Hi, Ochako. What are you doing here? Please just go. I can't do that. Just leave me alone. Please. I already feel stupid. You were right. You were right. Is that what you wanted to hear? Is that why you're here? I've been through enough. Just go away. Please, just listen to me. Just please. Ochako, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. If I believed you, if anyone believed you, you'd be. Everyone would still be alive. Izuku's actually Renegade. I know. And Jiro's Songbird. I did not know that. How are we going to... How are you... How are you going to stop him? I don't know yet. I have to kill him. Just do it. You're not going to... No. He deserves to die. After what he did. Just promise me you won't leave a body. What? Just promise me if he dies, you've seen it. You've seen him die. His mind reading powers. I felt helpless. I couldn't scream, just lie there and just lie there and what happened? I I don't want to talk about it. Oh God. I'm sorry. Otaku's just going to sit there. her going to lay down and face away from Bakugo. Her entire body is shaking. She's afraid. She's afraid because he's here. Just because he's, well, like him. Bakugo and Deku. The two, they do share one commonality. And Ochako's afraid of that. Now, Deku, he did quite a lot to affect Ochako. And Bakugo, he does do one thing. He goes to tell Ochako, hey, I'm going to stand back up, as she is going to sit there frozen and afraid. Her body still shaking. Bakugo walking over to the bed and going to bring his hands up. Him going to pull off the cap. And Ochako is going to hear him set it down. It crumbling, as Bakugo is going to say, It helps. What do you mean? You can't hear your head. You can't get in, can't get in, can't get in, can't get in. He stays out. He stays out. He stays out. Ochako, she actually is going to turn over. Her watching Bakugo as he does going to turn and move back to the door. Or not back to the door. Turn and move back to the window. Him about to leave. And Ochako, she does see Bakugo turn and look back. He looks completely afraid. He looks scared and startled. And she knows that look in his eye. Bakugo, he wears that cap. It smells not good, but right now, her bring her hand up, grabbing it from the table as Bakugo, he doesn't break eye contact with Ochako. Him keeping his eyes glued directly to that hat. As Ochako is going to put it back on her head. And she is going to sit there. The idea that Deku can't get into her mind. He can't use it as a playground. Use it as a tool to hurt her. Use it against her. The idea that this is the only thing keeping her safe, along with police and heroes, it's a bit comforting. He can't get into her head. He can't make her see them die. He can't make her live through that again. And, well, he won't be alive to hurt anyone else like he hurt her. That in her mind. And Bakugo, he does that turn. Him going to leap out of the window. And Ochako, she's going to watch as she would hear the explosions in the distance. Her sitting there and thinking. Bakugo asked her a ton of questions. She gave her the answers. But there were a few things she had questions about herself. I mean, Ochako bring her hand up to her stomach and trying to think about it. She has tons of questions. She's about to be sick. Her going to turn. And right now, Ochako does feel the contents of her stomach turn and puke. Now, with that being said, we do actually have over with Deku. Deku, he's done quite a bit. He has his own little prodigy. And Eri just stand there holding the gun. As Deku, he does try to tell her about what to do. Eri does have to be careful. Her looking down range and seeing a man sitting there, as he is tied to a chair with an apple on his head. And Deku does try to tell Eri about what to do. Him going to bend down onto his knees and bring his hand up. Him telling her, okay, close her left eye and bring this up like that. Okay, and now just line up the sights and aim for the apple. In fact, aim a little bit higher. Just make sure she doesn't aim too high. Because if it does hit the apple, if it goes straight on, the guy will be okay. But if it goes a little too high up or too high or too far down, then, well, the guy's face, it's gonna be a closed casket funeral, not open. And with that, Eri, she's gonna bring her finger up to the trigger. Her thinking about what to do. And Deku just trying to tell her, she'll be alright. Just taking a deep breath and squeeze. Now, Irita's going to do so. Her going to feel the trigger as she's just going to squeeze it with 2 fingers. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. And have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next part.